Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the penultimate seminar here on stage 2 at this year's Grad Ireland Graduate Careers Fair. For this talk, we're going to be chatting to Kathy Joyce, Graduate Recruitment Lead at PwC. Hi, Kathy, how are you?
Good, really well. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Pierce.
No problem at all. Absolutely our pleasure, and everyone else watching as well. So today, Kathy is going to talk to us about how to build your employability skills. So as I'm sure you're all aware, at this stage, you can ask questions by using the chat function, the chat box below, and you can also upvote any questions you want to see me put to Kathy. Time permitting at the end, I'll put as many as I can to her. So without further ado, I'll pass you on to Kathy, and she'll take you through the seminar.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Pierce. So as Pierce said, my name is Kathy Joyce, and I am the Graduate Recruitment Team Lead here at PwC. And today I will having a chat about employability skills and how you can build on them as you progress through college or over the next couple of months as you decide what you'd like to do with your career. So then just a very quick introduction into what PwC actually is. So we are a professional services firm that helps our clients with their needs or problems, try to add as much value as we can, manage their risk, and then improve their overall performance. As you can see there from the slide, we have 3 lines of service. We have assurance, we have tax, and we have advisory. So just a quick note on advisory if you are thinking of applying. Advisory consists of consulting, and then it also consists of deals. So unfortunately, deals doesn't open for milk round, but you can apply through our work placement or our summer internship. The rest of the service lines are open for milk round. So let's get started here now. So hopefully I'm on the right, yes, I am on the right slide. So today, we'll just talk about employability skills that employers such as PwC or any of the big four like to see coming through in their candidates. So you might not know this, but there's a good chance that you're developing the skills that employers are looking for every day, such as communicating, organizational skills, time management, teamwork, that sort of things. So you're probably showing these attributes already through your extracurricular activities, sporting achievements, part-time work, and then most recently, in the times of transitioning in and out of virtual academic settings is a really, really good example as well. So hopefully this session will help you reflect on how you can differentiate yourself and make the right impact. And then in the upcoming slides, I'll chat through about 6 skills, and I'll have questions that current employers may ask you, so you can use them as really good examples before you go into an interview or apply for a role of your choice. So the first one is being a team player. So being able to work in a part of a team is vital. Now more than ever, we need to understand how we need to support people and what kind of support to give at a certain time. You'll also need to be able to recognize when to play a supporting role or when to take a step back, and then of course then when to take the lead on certain projects. So you could have picked up skills like this from many different situations. Obviously, the most obvious would be, in a team sport or a club or society. If you tackled a group project with other students, or you have a part-time job, or you did an internship or a work placement. So you'll see on the slides there that there are 5 questions, and hopefully you'll have time to take some of those down. So questions that employers might ask, like they will be simple enough. So have you ever led a team or a group? Have you been able to adapt in order to work better with others? Do you participate in sports clubs, societies? Do you have a part-time job? How do you work with your colleagues when you're doing that? Things like that. And then always have an example of how you've done this. So the top tip for the team player skill will be think about the skills you've brought to the team and how you could apply those in the workplace. So That's pretty straightforward. Again, as Pierre said, if you have any questions, we can run through them at the end. So the next skill is really important, especially in the current environment and after the COVID pandemic. So prepare for the unexpected. So obviously change is inevitable, especially nowadays, and we've seen that over the past 18 months, 2 years. And the way we do things may have to be altered within the matter of minutes. So through it all, you need to keep focused and committed to delivering the highest quality of work. So you must be able to think on your feet and adjust to lots of different situations without compromising on standards. You need to be logical enough to work out the best way forward when these, certain situations happen, or you need to get over a hurdle last minute. On the slides, there's really good questions. So really simple questions like, have you picked up a shift at work at short notice, or if you've done an internship or a work placement, have you jumped on a team at short notice and had to present at short notice, things like that. Have you networked with other people in your college course or university? And the last one there is really important, and I definitely take that down as one potential question an employer might ask, and it is, have you solved a problem that arose as a result of something going wrong? Or another way you could kind of change that around is, how have you adapted to the last 18 months? That's a really good question, and I'm sure a lot of employers will be asking that over the next couple of weeks, especially as we go in through milk round. So definitely take some time and prepare some questions and have some examples for preparing for the unexpected, because it's going to definitely come up over the next few weeks. So the next skill is be a strong communicator, or communication skills. So wherever you end up working, you'll be in constant contact with loads of different types of people, loads of different people at all levels. So you'll need to be able to get your point across, and then also bring others around to your way of thinking. And then in turn, as well as being trying to get your point across, you also need to be a really good listener and listen to other people's ideas and opinions. So you'll need to be able to express yourself clearly in a virtual or in a face-to-face setting, because we are in this hybrid working environment now. This also includes written communication as well. And the first two forms of communication any interviewer will see will be your application and your CV. So you need to make sure you demonstrate, your communication skills appropriately through those. That it's a decent CV or a decent application, and you're running through your points that you're trying to make really well, and you're cutting out all the waffle, and your spelling is correct and all that kind of thing. That really brings on the full impact of being a really strong communicator. So again, like the other two, take down a couple of these questions, because no doubt you will be asked them. um, have you ever written a speech, or persuasive essay? That's always a good one to bring on board. Have you ever made a point of taking on board different opinions, or persuaded people to your way of thinking? The top one is a really good one, and it actually kind of works really well, especially in a kind of a professional service environment. So have you created something simple for others to follow, such as instructions or a project plan? That's a really good one. And then the last one there, have you used your powers of persuasion to get funding or an agreement for a proposal? Now, obviously, it doesn't have to be funding or an agreement, but things like that, like think about if you're in a society or a club, like how would you go about doing those type of things? They're really important. So the top tip would be, as I said, have plenty of examples to draw upon for this, because you will be asked something about communication in whatever interview you do. So then the next one is keep developing your knowledge. So when you start a new job, you'll be constantly building on your commercial and technical skills through job learning and functional training and that type of thing. So always look for opportunities to develop your know-how and think about where you could apply it. Obviously, if you're going to interview for a company, you need to research the company and the industry the company works in before your interview. That's really important. So a top tip will be, find anything you can about the company you're applying to and how you can add value. Look at the magazine articles or paper articles, any online blogs that they've done, that they've been a guest speaker on a podcast, that type of thing. Really a cool way to bring in your knowledge about the company that you're working for. But then in terms of an interview or, developing your skills, so a really good one that they ask is, do you take interest in current affairs or in business affairs, that type of thing. um have you ever thought about who your dream client is? That's a really good one. And then obviously they're going to ask you about the economy today if it is that type of role you're applying for. So make sure you're up to date on that knowledge as well. Have you ever taken the time to learn something new or keep your knowledge up to date? So they're really just trying to probe how well you take on information, how well you can deepen your knowledge at a short space of time. So they're just some things to think about. So the next one then is also really important. It's just like teamwork, and it's how you build your network. So if you can build relationships, you'll be a lot better placed to achieve results. Establishing good rapport with others means clients will be more likely to ask you back again and again and recommend you for other work. Your ability to inspire loyalty and get on well with others can make a big difference to your career. They're all really important ones, and interviewers and managers, when you're starting off, will definitely look at this and look at how you can build out your network. um, Really good questions are, do you build relationships with people outside of your social circle? And the third one down there is a question that I always ask. Have you built good relationships with others? And if so, how do you know that they are good relationships? That's a really good question, and a really good one to think about how you would answer that. So the top tip would be, the important thing is to show potential employers that you can build and maintain strong relationships with all sorts of different people. So definitely have examples ready for those. And then we move on to organizational skills. So be organized. So you need to make sure your standards never slip, as I said, especially now, because things can change at a drop of the hat, and you need to be organized for when that does happen, or if it does happen. So it means that you can be juggling different priorities and turning to a backup plan if the project doesn't quite work out as expected. You'll need to be able to communicate how you manage your workload, make sure you meet deadlines, and then how you use your initiative to deal with the unexpected, as I said. We have 5 questions on the slide again. So, how have you adapted a plan as a result of a significant change? That's a really good one. And then the last one there, how have you juggled different priorities to meet important deadlines? So, a good example is, you may have a part-time job. How do you manage your academic work alongside that? Or you may be part of a sports team. How do you fit it all in? So think about how you've made a difference to a project or situation through your organizational skills. That's a really good one to have as a backup in the back of your mind if an employer does ask that type of thing. Because again, these 5 that I've gone through are typical questions that employers will ask someone starting out in their career, or someone applying to a work placement or an internship. So just a small bit about PwC then. So if you do decide to start your career with PwC, we will help take your career forward. We take a blended approach to your development, combined formal learning, coaching from others that are a little bit more senior, and most importantly, practical on-the-job experience, which I think is vital and the most important. So if you do decide to join a firm like PwC, then you'll gain a wide range of transferable skills, personal and technical skills that will help you grow. So I know that was a whistle stop tour, but we do actually have our employability guide on our website. So there is the address. And I can pop it in the chat after this. Or sorry, Pierce, we actually don't have a chat, but I can get Pierce to send it out. And you can download the brochure today, and it goes through in depth about what I've just talked about there. So it's a really good guide, especially before, milk round interviews or summer internship interviews or anything like that. So that's it from me. I know that was short and sweet, but if Pierce has any questions for me, I'm happy to take them.
Yeah, Kathy, that was great. Thanks so much for that. Really, really, really appreciate it. You've had loads of questions come in, so I'll try and get to as many of them as we can. Yeah, and it's great about the presentations as questions come in, and then you kind of answer on the next slide, which is always really good.
Oh yeah, okay.
Well, this is actually, I think, a really interesting one, and it's something that's come up quite a bit today in the sessions is,
Cool.
video interviews have come up quite a bit, or, things about team building skills. And this question
Mm,
is like, what advice would you have for someone to build team working skills who's an introvert? And maybe, it doesn't come naturally to them. Maybe they haven't played, sports when they were younger or growing up. They don't really mix well as
yeah.
part of a team. What advice would you have
Yeah.
for someone?
I suppose, like, we can take, for example, starting out as a grad maybe, and they are a little bit more introverted, then I suppose just getting involved in as much as you can, and that doesn't mean, being immersed in the team as such if they find that difficult. But in PwC, for example, there's loads of different networks and different societies and things like that people can join, and they can join but take a back seat. So like they'll attend the meetings, or they'll attend the days out, things like that, but they won't have like a formal role as a grad. And that's a really good way of meeting new people, settling into the new environment, and even like, I think it's so important to ask questions, that they may not feel comfortable asking their teammates because they don't want them to know they don't know the answer, or whatever the case may be. So I would definitely suggest, when whatever company you do join, like, look at the different opportunities they have outside of the team. And then that will definitely help them when they're inside the team trying to build that, relationship or that network up. So yeah, but yeah, of course it's tricky, and it's even more trickier when you're virtual. Like, I started in PwC 3 months ago now, and it was completely virtual. I had my first day in the office on Wednesday, so I understand that it's tough virtually. But I think if you are joining virtually, which some of you may be, like, ping everyone, set up calls with different people, like 10-minute calls, like coffee catch ups or whatever the case may be, and get to know as many people as you can. I think that's the only way forward with the virtual environment.
Yeah, exactly. That's, really, really good practical advice. And like I said, it is hard to build that team kind of ethos,
Yeah.
virtually, but it is the world we're in at the moment. And, it
Mhm.
looks like it'll be hybrid working going forward. So it's kind of something like might be out of your comfort zone. You kind of have to take the plunge and kind of immerse yourself in that environment. And you touched on it, throughout your presentation there, but in terms of the PwC graduate program
Mhm.
itself and the different streams and everything else, there's a few things around that.
Yeah.
In terms of degree backgrounds, I think some people might think, oh, look, you have to have, a finance or an accounting background to apply. Can you just give a bit of background in terms of what degree subjects you look for?
Yeah, so absolutely not. Like, it doesn't matter what degree background you have. We do not discriminate against anyone's academic background whatsoever. As long as they're the right fit for the service line they apply for, that's all we really care about. So, we have a lot of people that studied medicine coming through, nurses that, didn't really, they tried it, didn't really like it, they wanted to go down a different stream, they applied to us, and we were a great fit for the service line they interviewed for. We have a lot of engineers, people doing law. um there it, the I think it's nearly 50% of our intake is from a non-business discipline. So that just shows you that, it's not the degree that you study, it's the type of person you are and whether you fit in or not with the team that's interviewing you. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
and
wouldn't worry about that at all.
yeah, do think it's important to dispel maybe if there are still myths around,
Mm,
needing a specific degree to apply for, a PwC graduate program or any program, for that
yeah.
matter. And then in terms of the application process, again, I know you've touched on this again, through your presentation. Can you talk a little bit about the journey in terms of what's involved in it? So if someone has maybe watched this, or, maybe has applied maybe a few days ago and is wondering
Yeah.
how it's gonna, what they're in for, potentially if they go all the way. Can
Yeah,
you
of
just talk a little bit about the
course.
journey?
Yeah, so it's about approximately 15-minute application. So it's not by any means long, and most of the questions are either multiple choice or a drop down. So, there isn't that much inputting. The final question then is like, why would you like to work for PwC? So definitely make sure you complete that, because that just kind of, makes you stand out from the rest, kind of explains your intentions, that type of thing. So make sure you apply for that. Sorry, you fill in that, and then once you hit submit, it will be sent to us. We will obviously screen successful candidates, then brought forward for interview will be invited to a presentation day. So we have two different presentation day, one for consulting and then one for tax, risk assurance and assurance. So you'll be invited to that. If you are successful, you will meet our managing partner, Fergal. He will introduce you to a number of different topics. Then you will be broken out into networking rooms where you get to meet a partner from the line of service that you are interviewing for, and then a grad as well. So that's your opportunity to network, as I said, really important. And also ask any questions that you have before your interview. So it's a really, really good opportunity to kind of get to know PwC, get to know the environment, the types of people that work with us, and then your opportunity again, as I said, to answer or to ask any questions that you have. Then you will be sent a link to our personality test, which is called Arctic Shores. That will take about 40 minutes to complete, and your results will be sent to you as well. So you have them for your personal use as well, which is great. Then it is a one round 45-minute interview with two interviewers, so a panel of two, usually a partner or director, and then a senior manager or a manager, depending on the level of the partner or director. 45 minutes, it will be a competency-based interview, and then you will find out whether you're successful or not on the day of the interview. So within 4 to 5 hours of your interview, usually you'll hear back. So again, applications are 15 minutes. You have your networking session before your interview if you are successful, and then it's a one round 45-minute interview.
Perfect. Yeah, it's a really, really, I know I had to go through it fairly quickly, but it's a really good, it gives you an indication of the journey they have to go on and kind of what to expect.
Yeah.
Not sure if you'll be able to answer this one, Kathy, but I'll throw it your way just in case it's really specific to the kind of accountancy world, which is,
Okay.
someone, I think it is actually a good question. And it's like, is any field of accounting forecast to see a boom, or a boom, sorry, soon, or likely business likely to pick up? So he says here, for instance, because of Brexit, is that going to have an impact on, maybe the audit side of things? Is that going to be,
Yeah.
maybe rising up in the next little while?
Yeah, you're right. Probably not the best person to answer this, Pierce, but I would probably have a look out for maybe aviation leasing and accounting within there. Just because people are obviously coming out of a lockdown worldwide, so I assume that like things like aviation and the transport industry, or the holiday industry will pick up massively. So I definitely have a look out for any aviation accounting roles out there. And also just to say that it's very popular department as it is. So, have a look out, keep an eye out. But I suppose, yeah, I'm not the best person Piers, to answer this. So if anyone does want to log in to our All About Assurance session, you can find all the details on our website, and you have a chance to ask the grads any questions that you have for that specific area. We also have one for tax, for risk assurance, and for consulting as well. So that's where you'll kind of get the in-depth knowledge about what it's like to work there, what do we forecast in the next couple of months or the next few years, and what's the most popular service line. So yeah, sorry, I'm definitely not the best person to ask, but if they do want to log in to any of those sessions, they're all on our website.
No, that's perfect, Kathy. I thought I'd test you with one of the final questions before I let you go. And then look, just to bring it back a little bit to the application process and the
Yeah.
PwC graduate program itself from different streams. I know you framed it in your presentation in the forms of questions that you should be asking yourself, or questions that you will be asked along the way. But are there, if you had to give someone, they've watched the presentation, like, yeah, I'm going to apply for the program, what 3 things do you think they should know, or maybe 3 tips you would give someone before they applied to help them get the most out of their application?
Yeah, no, definitely. So 3 tips before you apply, is that what you've asked me there,
Yeah.
or for the interview?
Yeah, so 3 tips, if you're thinking of applying, maybe that gives you the
Yeah.
best chance of succeeding through the application process.
Yeah, so I would say number one, I mentioned very briefly, will be to have your most up-to-date CV ready to go, very clear, concise, no waffle on it. Make sure you pop down all relevant information, like your part-time work, even if you've worked in a pub or a shop or whatever the case may be, they are all really important at this stage of most people's, career starting out, or, and then again, I get a lot, if you're a mature student or an experienced hire, what do you do in terms of your, all the experience you've had before this? pop all the relevant bits down, because you're always gonna, you're always gonna have worked in a team, you're always gonna have, built networks, used your communication skills, that type of thing. So yeah, so have a really clear, concise CV with all your relevant experience on it. What I definitely would say is to research the company, but also know why you want that particular line of service. So, like, I did an interview a while ago, and the person was interviewing for assurance, but they wanted marketing, and like it was so obvious in the interview that the candidate was in the completely wrong interview, first of all, and they didn't, know much about assurance at all, or why they actually wanted to, become part of that particular service line. So that will be number two. Research the company and make sure you know why you want that line of service. And if you can't say why you don't want it, then there really isn't a point applying for it. Um, and then number three would be, when it comes to the interview stage, try not to be nervous. I always say to them, like, if you're interviewing with a partner or a director, like they were literally sitting in your shoes maybe 20 years ago, depending on their age. So they're fully aware of what it's like to be in your situation currently now, out there looking for the right employer, trying to pick between a few of them, going from interview to interview. And it is quite nerve-wracking. So just try your best not to be nervous. And it is a two-way conversation. At the end of the day, you have to choose the employer as much as they have to choose you. So take account of that and take your time when you're choosing the employer for you. But yeah, they're my three, probably, I don't know, points of information that I usually spread my wise words going forward. But I'm sure I could go on and on. But yeah, they're my three probably most important.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought about I better ask you for three instead of 10. And then just finally, Kathy, what are the key dates for people if they're looking to apply? Do you mean when does the program open? When does it close? I know you've the summer internship program as well. Just some of the key dates you'd like graduates to know about for the year ahead.
Yeah, of course. So just we'll start with the summer internship. So that's opened now on our website, and it is closing on the 31st of January. So that's a Monday. Then we move on to our milk round. So consulting, assurance, risk assurance, and tax are all opened now. Consulting is closing on the 11th of October at 2 p.m. And then the rest of them, assurance, risk, and tax, are closing on the 13th at 2 p.m. So they're really important dates to remember. And all the information, as I said, is on the website. Any of the remaining fairs that we're attending or any talks that we're putting on, all the information on how to sign up is on the website as well.
Perfect. That's great, Kathy. Thank you so much for taking
Okay.
us through all that, for your time and your insights and everything else.
No problem.
Really appreciate it. So a reminder, as everyone knows, I think at this stage, that you'll be able to watch this seminar again right from the start. It'll be available on the platform for a week, and it'll also go up on the Grad Ireland YouTube channel. So that's it for the penultimate seminar today. Join us for our final one at 3:15, where we're going to be chatting about a very, very relevant topic, which is going to be the future of work. So I'll chat to you all then, and thanks again, Kathy.
No problem. Thank you. Best luck, everyone.